coming in on this dreary Wednesday. I know it's not easy getting out of bed and it's still dark and rainy and, incredibly tempting. But let me tell you guys, we have something even more tempting today here in class. We spent Monday kind of going over the field of management, some of the concentrations available, different career paths, faculty, courses that you'll see. But today we have a real treat. So we have Mr. David Glass and his team. They are here to speak to us a little bit about what it's like to actually be in management, work in management, and tell you a little bit about their, trajectory from, student to successful, successful entrepreneurs that they are today. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Mr. Glass and his team. So guys, please be sure headphones out, earphones out, phones away, unless you're taking notes. They do have an assignment, so they may be typing and texting. That's okay. We'll be policing you guys. These are incredibly great professionals that you need to know and network with. Make your first impression. Start building that personal brand today. Okay, guys? All right. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. How many of you guys, before I introduce my team, feel like that life is a little bit surreal sometimes, and maybe there's this weird pattern that you know nothing about? I experience that every morning at 6 o'clock, and so I live near the football stadium, and so every morning my little Frenchie needs a walk, and she wakes us up at 6. And so the best place to walk is on campus where there's no one's up yet, So we walk over by the old Keystone, the educational building. And so every morning I walk down a corridor that I was traumatized when I was 6 years old because I missed the first day of school getting my tonsils out. So how do you think about that? I'm 57 years old, yeah, and I'm still reliving that 6-year-old day in school. Pretty crazy how life returns to you. So my name's David Glass. I'm the president of Aligned Insurance. I've got my team here with me today. Kathy Lilio, Travis Goki, and Bruce Cornutt. He's our partner in the back. And so really what we're here to do today is to help you understand why you're in this business class. I sat in this class in the 80s. I had no idea what I was doing, what I wanted to do, that's a better way to say it. And then, life just picks a thing for you if you don't pick something. So I thought it was very cool that we were asked to come and visit and talk to you about that. So I really wanted you to be able to ask questions. Giving you a handout every year or every 5 years, we do a 5-year strategic plan for our business, and it's happened right now. So we're trying to re-emphasize our values as a company, and those are values that you have in front of you. Those are just all kinds of values. So before we get started, if you would, I want you to circle your top 15. Your top 15 values. Just put a circle around it. While you guys are doing that, we'll talk a little bit. Travis has something that, when you're in business and you're an entrepreneur, you're on your own, you make your own decisions, there's really very few rules of how do I do this. So a lot of times you just try to come up with an idea that you think works. So Travis, hold up that shirt. Does everybody see those letters on the shirt? Everybody know what that stands for? Yeah. Turn on the back. Okay, so we know that this stands for absolutely killer coverage, right? So we decided, since we're Jack State fans, that we were going to do a program with our customers which tied into what Jack State is doing. And think about why Jack State has those letters. I think they're trying to brand themselves, right? Are they trying to send a message? I think they are. So we're trying to send the same message about our insurance coverage. So we designed a program where our employees would pass out these shirts once they have done a coverage review with our clients. So I know, anybody in here pay for their own insurance? Travis will probably be calling you. I know he's a brand new agent with us, so be ready for that. But Has any of your agents ever called you and said, hey, your policy's coming up for renewal, we're going to review your coverages? Does that happen? No, it doesn't happen. So we wanted to do something different, and so we decided to put this program into place, and I just thought it was an amazing idea because I'm a Jack State fan, and so I kind of forced this on our employees to do, and there was resistance. Why do you think there was resistance? Exactly. Somebody said work. It was more work. So why should I do this more work? And we tried and tried and tried, and eventually we just gave up on the idea because it was causing too much stress on our employees to do this extra work. So what I would encourage you to think about when you open your own business one day is that the idea is not bad, but implementing the idea is difficult sometimes. So we scale back the idea, right, Kathy? And now we have a more buy-in to the idea because it's easier to implement. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
We've got extra donut in there?
Yes, they hand them out.
So what we're gonna do, if you ask a question, you get a shirt, okay? And I think we've got a good bit of shirts here to give out. So if you guys want a shirt, just ask the question. And I'd like you to just raise your hand anytime, ask us a question. This is our website. We are partnered with with a technology company. Align Tech is the name of our company. And so what they do is cybersecurity. Has anybody been hacked recently? Has anybody got an email that doesn't look real? Yeah. Well, do you think somebody's worried about that? Maybe their business is worried about that? So we've opened up another arm to our business that will protect you against that. Anybody got a question about that?
I just have a question. Why did you choose the color blue
Why did I choose the color blue?
for your website?
Well, that's a good question. I think that I had a lot of blue shirts in my closet. There was really no logic behind it. I used to work for one of the big red companies.
You ready?
Snake Farm. Anybody ever heard of them? State Farm is who I used to work for 10 years. They're red. So I wanted to not be red. That was really the logic behind it. We didn't really put a lot of thought into the color, which I know a lot of people do. What color would you pick?
I like this thing. It's calm.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I'm colorblind, so I really can't tell if it's blue or purple, which is why I put a letter on the inside of my shirt so I'll know what color to wear that day. More like granite, I guess, if y'all still know what that is. So you got your values circled? Everybody got them? Okay. So we're going into business today, all right? All of us are going to go into business together for an hour, and then we're going to shut down our business and we're going to go start a new business one day. In order to work together, we have to have common interests, common ground, okay? So those 15 things you chose, what are the odds that they're the same? 0? It's not going to be the same. So how do I go about running my business with all these different ideas and people and viewpoints and skill sets? Well, we have to come together, right? We have to agree on a set of ideals, all right? So now I want you to take those 15 and put a star by your top 10. Anybody watch the Weather Channel? Yeah. If you're in insurance, I promise you you're watching the Weather Channel. If you have a successful year, sometimes it relates to whether or not a hurricane hits you, a tornado hits you. So I used to live up 11th Street, right beside this building, going up by the Stone Center, on the top of the mountain there. And what happened in 2018? Everybody here? Was anyone here? Yeah, it hit us direct. I lived here all my life, and I never thought that a tornado would come to Jacksonville because of the mountains that surround it. I always just felt protected by that, but it hit us. And My daughter was 16. My son was playing travel ball. We were down in Gulf Shores. First time we ever left my daughter at home by herself.
Oh, no.
Believe that? So we're playing ball at Gulf Shores and there's no problem. It's sunny. And she calls, she's screaming on the phone. And we're like, what's wrong? She's in the bathroom with her feet pushed against the door with our dog, with the candle on, and the door is trying to be opened by the wind from the tornado. It blew open the front door of the house, and so we call her our little tornado magnet now. So she survived it. My neighbor came and got her. Now she's in school at Auburn. She's driving to Auburn one day. Tornado goes right over her car. She says, what do? She's screaming again. I said, go get out of your car and go in the building. She said, there's a hardware store right here. I said, don't go in the hardware store. There's a lot of sharp objects in there. I'd avoid that one. So anyway, wherever my daughter is, there's probably bad weather coming her way. So she knows what to do in a tornado. But this is what we do right here. Simple, plain and simple. You asked me to show you my product. That's it right there. The worst day of your life, one of the worst days of your life, you're going to be talking to your insurance person. Think about that. So what do you need from us to feel good about it? Well, that's where you tell me. Which one of those values do you need? Okay, now I want you to take that idea in mind, and I want you to put a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by your top 5. Kathy, you were here when the tornado hit, right? You want to come up and talk about that?
About that day?
Yeah. So Kathy has been working with me for 3 years, 4 years?
18 years.
18 years.
18 years.
So you could get into insurance when you're 11, 12 years old, if you want to.
It does age you, that's for sure.
Yeah, it does.
So, insurance was not my first choice. I thought I knew exactly what my path was gonna be, and that was accounting. Started out in that field and realized that was not what I wanted to do. It was very mundane, a lot of repetition. So I started working part-time for an insurance agency while I was in school. Realized I really loved that. So once it sucks you in, you either love it, hate it, leave, or stay forever, it seems like. So this year is actually my 20th year in the business. Started out part-time as a receptionist and now agency owner. So I love the path that it has taken me and the possibilities with this industry. It's one of the very few industries where you don't cap yourself on pay. I'm sure everyone loves to make money. They don't want to just make a certain amount. You're not going to college for 4 years just to make, minimum wage. So that's one of the things that was motivating to me was I can set my pay at whatever I want. As long as I get out there and work and hustle and do what's needed of me, then I can make the money. And so that was one of the things that I loved about it. I love the fact of the community aspect as well. That's a very big thing to me, and that's also, I think, one on your sheet as well. I firmly believe once you pour into your community will pour back into you. If you don't.
Real quick, there's an event that JSU just put on. Did y'all go to it?
Spirit on Mountain Street.
Spirit on Mountain Street. Anybody heard of that? Kathy has put that on this year. She's been putting it on for years. We started it in 2006.
Yes.
So we've been able to we're excited about the idea that we've raised over $100,000 for the local charity. That's important to us.
Yes.
We're also excited about the fact that students and residents of this town and people that are retired come to the same place and hang out, because all of us are a part of JSU, so we feel like it's an important part of our business.
Yes, giving back for sure. So that was one of the other aspects I love about this industry and being able to help. When things like this happen, that day was not a good day for a lot of people, and we made sure that we were boots on the ground and walk into houses we weren't able to get to them because of down power lines and trees and things like that. And so we made it our mission we walked the streets and took what they needed, whether it be food, supplies, or whatever. So those things are really important, when you're building who you are and who you want to be, out in the world and in your industry, so.
Well, let's ask a question about what you do after a tornado. What's the first thing that we should do? Yep. Say-
Check to see if everyone's okay.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, look, this is not rocket science. This is just how do I help, right?
Yeah.
So when your brain tells you that I need to do this, you might need to think about doing that. How do I help you, right? So how do we contact 3, 4, 5,000 people when there's no power? I don't know. Do we still need to do it?
Yeah.
Okay, what's your,
Get out and go at your
hey, that we can still walk, right? And can you drive your car through a tornado?
No.
Once the tornado's gone, can you drive your car?
No.
No. You know how many days it took to get past, 2 or 3 days before they cleared off the trees, right? So I worked for 10 years with State Farm as a catastrophe adjuster. So catastrophe hits, you come in 3 or 4 days later, a lot of times there's no food, no water, no power, no transportation, right? So what is a homeowner supposed to do during that time? The answer is survive, you know? So how did we help them survive?
By doing what we did, going out to the residents, getting contact who we could, putting them up in hotels, setting them with other living spaces and things like that, so.
Do you think the hotels were full?
Yes.
Yeah. When I worked in Los Angeles for the earthquake in '94, there were so many people that couldn't live in their house, we were putting them on cruises instead of a hotel, because it was cheaper. How about that? So you still have to solve the problem regardless of the fact that it's difficult. Okay? Anybody want to ask Kathy a question?
So I'm working towards my insurance license at the moment. Do you have any advice?
Any advice for that? I would say I would start with an internship somewhere. Once you get your license, that's one of the most important aspects of that. It's going ahead and having your license beforehand, but I would say intern and see how you like the profession.
Give her my business.
Hey, look, that's how I started, was internship, and I've had several since then. So that's the best way to know if you actually love the job or not. What I did with accounting and found out real quick I did not, so.
Right.
About that, you said you started with accounting. What changed from your perspective of accounting before that like made you change to a different field?
My personality, to sit in a room and do the same thing every day, there's only so much fun you can have with balance sheets and do an inventory and things like that. And my personality was more of an outgoing, and I wanted to do something where I had more involvement in community and learning and other aspects of things like that.
Do we have a person that likes accounting that works for us?
We do.
Sorry,
No, you're fine, go ahead.
I thought y'all called me.
No, you're good, go ahead.
It's not like a question, it's more of a comment. It's funny that you mentioned the personality thing, because you said your personality wasn't just sitting there scrolling on the computer typing things in, but that is my dream.
Yes.
We've heard people
And,
say that.
and there's some people that love that. Delana is one of she's our accountant, she came from JSU, she came as a co-op student. She loves it, she's the best, and there's some that do love it, and if you love it, that's for you, that's your passion. But if you don't, I mean, explore other avenues, you know. But personality is key in picking your profession, so.
You gotta make sure it's the right fit when you do this stuff, guys,
Yeah.
because I'll give you an example. My daughter, she just is dying. She's about to graduate from Auburn. She's dying to work for F1. I don't know if you guys follow Formula One. Well, she got an interview with them. What did they give her? 3 tests. What did they want to know? On a scale of 1 to 4, was she persistent? Was she obsessive? And then was she cooperative? So, and they ranked, and they told her this. They said, if you score 2 or 3, that means that you're not on the extreme. So they were looking for the extremes, or they were looking against the extremes, right? Which one do you think it was? Because we don't know. What are they looking for, right? It depends on what they're looking for. If you're interviewing for a job that needs to be a 2 or a 3, then you hope you score a 2 or a 3. But if they're looking for someone that needs to be a 1 or a 4, then they're looking for that. So when you take these tests, be who you are, okay? That's my advice to you. If you try to guess at what they're looking for, you're gonna wind up in a job that you don't fit in, and you're gonna hate it.
I think you have 2 more questions over here.
Oh, he asked my question.
Okay, give him another one.
What's the hardest part of running a business?
The accounting.
I would say when you're running it, you know, it's not the hardest part, but everyone's personality is different. And not having that cookie cutter style, adapting to your staff and things of that, so. Yes,
What's the salary range for y'all type of jobs?
as much as you want. That's the best part about it. What you sell is what you make. So it's a profession you do not cap yourself, anywhere from well over 100,000, so.
That's a good toss.
Depends on how much you wanna make in life.
Speaking of pay,
You got another one.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, let me add something, for all you accounting majors, you're desperately needed.
yes.
Yes, you are.
Just so y'all know that. I'm like Kathy, I started as an accounting major, and soon found that I was not fit to sit at a desk all day. But, I'm the retired CEO of the holding company that, you know, what is our enterprise? And I found that accounting people are people I love to talk to every day, because I do have a thing for balance sheets. Profit and loss statements, and it's really important, when you manage a business, you're gonna manage by those, right? Because that's the scorecard for business,
Right.
not the accounting department.
Yes.
So, all the different aspects of business, accounting, management, marketing, risk management, all the different disciplines within, the business school, every one of them are important in running a business day to day, as well as human resources. As Kathy just mentioned, the people part, at least in my experience, the most difficult part of all of them. So, you're in accounting, don't think changing.
No.
Unless you
Not
discover.
If you get a degree in marketing and management here, or I think that's how it's listed, it'll say Lions and Company Incorporated on there. That's our company, okay? We believe so strongly in what JSU is doing here, because we have seen the results from people that have gone to school here and have come to work. And so what we know is that when we hire a JSU student, typically they're very hard workers. And if you ask me on that list of those values, is something related to hard work on there? I don't know if it says exactly hard work.
It just works.
It just says work. So, and you guys feel like that list of descriptions is incomplete? Do y'all agree with that it should say hard work? Well, I think, you know what, as a company, you and I, today, we're gonna write that down as one of our new values, okay? So, does everybody agree on that value? So, what do we do with that information? So I'm gonna go interview Travis for a job. What am I looking for from Travis? Those 5 values, right? If he doesn't fit those 5 values, he is a no-go hire going forward, no matter how smart he is. Doesn't matter. It's as simple as that. Question?
What would you say your top 5 values are for your company?
Okay, I knew that question was coming. I'm almost there, okay? Can you give me a little bit longer? Okay.
You still get the shirt.
Yeah, it's coming, sure, yeah. We gotta get rid of these shirts, guys, all right?
Long
So,
road.
go ahead.
Oh.
Okay. What's one of
It was
your,
a
what's your
perfect
number
throw.
1 value? You put a number 1 back, maybe? Family? Raise your hand if you put down family. That's a good bit. I figured that was gonna be one. Everybody kind of agree that family's gonna be one that we all like? Well, how do you say family in a business? Like, what did that mean to you?
Family in a business like your coworkers, so it's like when you're around like your coworkers and you can make somebody part of your family, like it just you can get close with people like your coworkers. You can just feel it. Like when she was saying like when you're doing the party, you're doing the that's what I was like.
Yeah. So Kathy and I feel like family, right? Do family love each other all the time? No.
No, we love each other, we
Yeah.
don't like each other. It's true. It really is.
Sorry, I interrupted again.
No, you're fine.
Sorry, sometimes about my sister, it's like, I hate you, but if you were about to fall into an active volcano, I'd probably save you.
Maybe.
Probably.
I'd save you, but like, I'd still hate you.
No.
So when we argue, which we argue, I think we are very good at our arguing. And I think that every time we do, we move forward. So when your family gets on you a little, it's not because they don't love you, right? It's because they're being honest with you. The worst thing that can happen to you in business is have everyone tell you what you want to hear and not the truth.
Yes, don't ever be a yes person.
Right.
You got another question over here?
When you started your business, what was one of the biggest losses you first took?
My personal biggest loss was,
I'll say the growing pains.
yeah, I
The
mean,
growing pains of branching out and starting, because David had the idea of, not just being the mom and pop, that we wanted to expand and grow. And so in doing that, you take on extra expense of locations and people and things like that, so I would say that would be one of the biggest growing pains we've
Yeah.
had,
right now, we've doubled in size in the last 5 years. Is that awesome? Are we going, yes? We sort of are. But what did Bruce ask me to do that I had not thought of? If I double again, how many people do I have to hire? Oh my gosh. I know what I'm doing right now with this number of people now. So we built an org chart. Have you ever done an organizational chart in a class or thought about it? Just pretend you have 20 employees and figure out who reports to who does what. It's kind of like fielding a football team or something. Who's good at blocking and tackling and who's good at catching the ball. So it'll change you when you do an org chart. Because guess what's assigned to each person? A dollar amount. So then you go to your accountant and you say, can I do that? She says, no, you don't make enough money yet. You got a question right there?
I was gonna say, how long did it take you to adjust to everything after your business
It takes time. I would say probably the first 2 years after
Yeah.
we started expanding.
The rule of thumb is 2 to 3 years. Like when we're going to insure, let's say you got a business on the square and we're going to come and insure you. Our insurance companies say, how long have you been in business? And I want to see how many claims you've had in the last 3 years.
Yep.
If you make it 3 years, you're going to make it. If you're struggling at the end of year 2, doesn't mean you're not going to make it. It just means you're in that beginning phase, Got one right there.
Are you the owner of the business or just the manager?
Owners.
So, why are there management speakers?
We still manage. We didn't own it and check out.
We do have an owner that is not part of the business, okay? And he's more of an investor, right? So if you were gonna buy my business and you know nothing about insurance, what would you wanna make sure about?
There were good people.
Right, that people knew how to make the money that you invested in, to return on your investment, right? So when you're a small business, the owners do the work. So if the garbage can's full, Kathy's taking it out if she needs to, but she's also writing a $500,000 account.
And another part,
You lead by example. If you want people to do what you want them, the best thing to do is lead by example. So us showing the example of what to do, it bleeds over into them.
And then also, not only are they talking about their managerial experience, but their entrepreneurial experience. Remember, we talked about under management, there we have a whole new field available to students to pursue entrepreneurship. They're the epitome of doing that successfully.
I got one in the very back first.
How important is punctuality as one of your values?
That goes back to your dependability and reliability, you know, all of that, so it's important. The main important thing is you show up when you say you're going to. And our side, you know, if you're meeting with clients and things, there's some flexibility on time and stuff, but if you tell a client that you're gonna call them at a certain time or meet with them, then you're there early to do that.
Is that one of your top 5?
No, I would have certain punctuality, but
What's one of your top 5 that relates to that?
I would say accountability.
Yeah, we have accountability as one of ours. Actually, we talked a lot about that at our 5-year retreat last week. So accountability is doing what you say you'll do. You may tell you what the secret to that is. My dad told me this is that when I first started in the agency. Don't say you're gonna do something that you can't do. So it's easy to say I'm gonna do it. It's really hard to say to someone you can't do something. But you're better off saying that as opposed to saying you can do it and not doing it. Very, very important part of accountability. What you got?
You said y'all were, expanding. How many, locations do y'all have currently?
4.
Like where at?
We have Jacksonville, Gadsden, Alfredville, and Birmingham.
Go ahead, what you got?
So to expand upon the entrepreneurial sort of area within management, when you were first starting, did you find that networking was important, and what was the best method for networking?
Well, you've asked the question of the best networking human that I've ever met in the world, so I'm gonna let her. I'm horrible at it. I'm just gonna tell you, but she's really, really good at it.
He likes to hide in the corner. Networking is the key to your success. If you don't put yourself out there, and what I did is I threw myself into everything in the community, whether it was board-wise, community-wise, to see what fit with our needs. But I didn't just go and sit on a board. I was a participant person. That's the key. If you just go with the intent of, oh, I just want to be associated to this, then it's not going to work. You know, put out what you know, get back on that.
So it's like the principle of sowing and reaping.
Yep.
I see.
And then I even started my own foundation as well. So that's another great way, because I was like, start a foundation and, you know, also put you in front of other businesses and owners and things like that.
Maybe speak for a second about Travis and him. Travis has been here how long?
Since January.
So Travis has been with us since January. So he has a lot of good insight about what Kathy is training Travis on how to be successful as an insurance agent. So what are some of the things that you think that Kathy is?
That means you gotta throw shirts.
I gotta throw shirts, right?
Yeah. Well, a couple things y'all have already brought up are great points. I mean, punctuality. Imagine you're a business owner that has to pay $40,000, $50,000 worth of premium just for insurance every year. And you set an appointment with me, and I show up 15 minutes late. Are you going to give me your $50,000? No. Probably not. Right? At the end of the day, we're all salespeople. And we deal, you know business owners, and some of them are a little uptight, are they not? So you deal with these people every day. They expect you to be on time. They expect you to show up when you say you're gonna show up. They expect you to give them what you promised to give them. So yeah, it's important in every aspect. I don't know what all is on this list that you have, but I'm sure each and every one of them are pretty important in this business. I've been doing it for a few months, and I'm already a member of the Alabama Builders Association, the Chamber of Commerce, and a couple other things. So yeah, outreach is important too. I mean, you've got to get out and meet new people to get the clients that you're looking for.
What made you switch to insurance from where you were before?
All right, so some of you are on a long road. I've had a lot of different jobs over the years, And at some point, you've got to find what motivates you most. I love helping people. I was a firefighter for several years. I was here as a firefighter when the tornado came through JSU, pulling people out of vehicles, going door by door. I don't know if some of you remember, you would see like orange X's on doors and stuff like that. Well, that was us. We had to go door to door and make sure that people were okay, alive, and those kinds of things. But firefighting doesn't pay that much. So insurance it was.
Somebody call out another value in your top 5.
Faith.
Safe?
Faith.
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 Okay. What do you think?
Faith.
Faith in what?
Well, tell me, what do you think faith means in business?
I just think it as like God. Like God has a plan for all of us, and then y'all's business and everything. How has He gotten y'all this far?
Ooh, that's not a me question. That's a David question.
Yeah. I think that, when you talk about God's plan, I don't want to get into all of that, but that's His plan. How am I supposed to know His plan? I just, trust, At the end of the day, our business relies on trust, which is similar to faith. If you trust us or not, at the end of the day, you'll do business with us. If you don't trust us, you will go somewhere else. I mean, does it matter if I have Jake with State Farm, or if I have a lizard, or if I have Flo, or does all those things matter? What are they there for? Do they engender trust or faith in the company?
They grab your attention.
Right, it's an attention getter. That's all it is, right? So once they get your attention, what do they need to do?
Sell you
Right, how do they sell you?
by saying the benefits you get from having them with you.
Right, and the benefits are what? When you have the worst day of your life, that they're there to stroke you a check to get back right, right? And that boils down to the, do you trust that? So at the end of the day, trust, I would say, is one of our top 5. And by the way, we have 10. We're trying to narrow it down to 5. So when you ask me what ours are, we have 10. We love our 10. We can't seem to get below 10 for some reason. So I'm using this class today to try to figure out how can we get below 10, Because the more focused you can be, the faster you can go and better you can be as a business. Okay, so the more narrowly focused you can be, the faster you can go, and because that puts everyone on the same mission. All right? One of the things that we are excellent about is new business sales. And that's because we put a focus on that, right?
Yes.
How do we do that?
We set goals, and anyone in sales, you're competitive, and you wanna win.
You wanna win.
And you wanna have the highest, sales for that month, and so we set a minimum goal and a stretch goal that each producer meets. So it becomes a competition with their sales and internally, within the company, a good competition, but, it works.
How do we set the goal? Anybody got an idea of how I should set the goal for you?
Goes back to that accounting.
Does? Say again?
Everyone says you should set by example, so if you're
Yeah.
telling us to do these things, you should just show.
Right.
I mean, you already have, but.
So when I asked Kathy, when we were hiring 20 years ago, how much money you wanted to make, that was the way that I set her goal, right? So as long as I knew she was going to do more than what my minimum standards were, I wanted someone who would blow that out of the water, right? I didn't want someone that would hit our minimum standards. So I asked her what her goal was. What'd you say?
Unlimited.
So she said unlimited. So basically she's saying that the sky's the limit. So when you're talking, if I ask you right here in the white shirt, what's your goal?
Growth.
What's your number?
Number?
How many dollars you want to make?
6 figures at least.
Okay.
At least.
So how do you do that?
Work at it. Hard work.
How many policies you got to write?
Too many.
Okay. Then you can't do it, right?
Right.
So what I'm saying to all of you guys is, in your mind, you have a number, okay? And that is your goal. Because if Travis and Kathy and myself and Bruce, if we're not internally driven by our own goal, then we're not gonna be successful, period. If we're being driven by someone else telling us, we have to do this, have to do that, you should just go work somewhere else. Go ahead, Bruce.
I was just gonna say that the exercise David is leading you through the values part that you're looking at, those little things that you've been circling, starring, and numbering on a piece of paper. Those are the things that will drive the goals that you set.
Right.
For people of faith, on a personal level, you know, the demonstration of faith is love, joy, peace, forbearance, understanding, gentleness, all those things. Those are values that I have, and they come out in how I take care of other people, or how I listen and respond and treat people. Those manifest themselves in being trustworthy or integrous or those different things. And so when you say, my goal is X, there'll be more than one thing that influences that goal. So it's really, really critical when you're running your business, you don't have one single thing in mind. You have a small collection of things, really, really important ideals that have to come together. We talked about family a minute ago. One of our goals is family, but it's not we all treat one another well. That's a value as well, that we're gonna treat each other with respect. But in terms of family goals, we value your family time as one of our corporate values, because we want people to have good quality work-life balance. Because happy employees are productive employees.
Right.
So this entire exercise of discovering what values drive you is incredibly important. Whether you're gonna be an accountant, a marketing major, a human resources person, or an entrepreneur, all of those things, it's really important to figure out what's really important to you.
Yeah.
And what kind of values drive your thought process.
One example of that, my son just graduated from college about 2 years ago. He's a finance economic major. Didn't really look for a job. He went to the last job fair at school. Took the first offer they gave him, so he's selling flooring for Shaw Industries in North Carolina. All right, good job, good money. You know, that's what we would all say. 2 years in, he's miserable. Okay, he's miserable. And it's not because the job is bad, it's because it's not a good fit. You got a question up there?
Is he in sales, Sean?
He is. Are you going in sales?
No, that's where my mom's a TV base right there.
Okay, good. Don't tell her I said that. But what I'm saying to you about the values is, he took the first job that was offered to him, but 2 years in, he feels like he is just an order taker and he has no mission. You know what I'm saying? So if you're a person that needs a mission, then and you take a job that really doesn't have a mission, just same thing as if you're in an accounting position and then you decide that you're not an accounting person, if you stay in that job, you're going to be miserable. And you can do that job for 32 years. And I can ask my wife, she can tell you that if you want the security of a job as one of your top 5, you can find companies that give you that, and you can work there forever. And if that's one of your top 5, then that's fine. Go ahead.
How long did it take you to yield a profit margin?
How long? 3 years. First year you lose money, second year you break even, third year you make money. Go ahead.
How did you market your business when you first started?
We tried a lot of things. I was a marketing major here. Have y'all seen the digital billboard across from Walmart?
Yeah.
Anybody seen that? That was mine. I was spending $36,000 a year on advertising, and I decided to build my own billboard and pay myself. And so we started doing our own advertising. And so that billboard actually wound up being very effective, but what did it do? It doesn't, like, no one calls me and says, hey, I saw your phone number on the billboard, please write my insurance. It's a branding opportunity. It's how you say who you are, what you're about. See that logo there, protection is our purpose? That's what we are about. It's everywhere, that's what we do. Several questions, let me get through those.
What made you decide to start your own business?
I worked for State Farm for 10 years. I call it working for the man, you know, and it was not my personality. And I couldn't see an upward growth, you know, and so I decided to do my own thing, and it wound up being a good idea. The real reason that I did it is my wife and I work for State Farm. She got pregnant and we couldn't work together anymore. Go ahead.
So, how do you apply these same, principles and, all that? How do you apply it to just your regular employees on a day-to-day basis, like, for like sales reps and just below us?
Yeah.
How do you apply all these?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'll repeat that question. Did everybody hear that okay? How do you apply the values to, you said current employees, right?
But like the lowest, like from
Okay.
starting out.
Yeah.
from
Well, the first thing, one thing about the values, it impermeates every single thing in your business. From how you go at new business, from how you hire, for how you fire, for how you train, and for how you go to market, or how you do your marketing. So one thing you do is you put it everywhere, all right? And then every time you go to do something, you ask yourself a question: which one of those 5 values does it point to? And if it doesn't point to one of those 5, you have to not do it. Okay? Go ahead.
How do you guys value ethics?
We get a lot of ethics value placed upon us by the Department of Insurance. So even if we didn't feel ethical, we would have that placed upon us. Travis had to get his license before he could sell a policy. Kathy, you want to talk about your involvement with the Department of Insurance?
Yes. So, in your path of growth, you don't want to just stay, I didn't want to just stay at one level. My goal was to learn every aspect and all I can about the business from start to finish. And in that process, grow with product knowledge and everything like that. So I'll say recently, it's been a few years now. I'm on the state board for insurance. I work closely with the Department of Insurance and the commissioner and all them when helping set rules and regulations for our carriers and things like that, which is very beneficial. It's beneficial on our side and it's beneficial to the consumer as well. And it opens a whole new world aspect of things, even working on the legislative side. So getting to a lot of these bills and things that get passed on the insurance, it starts with us and those people to make that change. So it's opened a lot. You're not just limited. If you start in a career and you say, I just want to do X, then you're never going to be happy. I can say the most important thing to do is to learn. Make yourself the most valuable person there. Learn everything you can. Always grow. Never stop learning on that aspect.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
So I just wanted to touch on what you guys just spoke on for a second. What advice would you guys recommend to somebody like me who is devoted to things like growth and lifelong learning, but finds difficulty putting such things into application, especially at this stage in life?
You mean like starting the process, or like what's your difficulty with it? What's your hardship you run into?
Putting knowledge into practical usage. Maybe it's just the stage I'm at in life, but
Right now you're in your learning stage. This is the easy part. Once you graduate, that's when the hard starts. So once you get out there, you've gotten your degree, you've gotten that aspect of it. Now you've got to start at the bottom of your carrier or company, whoever you're with, and put that knowledge that you've learned here to use there.
One of the things I say to that is, there's no boo-boo, okay? You're looking for the top 10 things to do so that I will be successful, right?
Yeah.
So your brain is telling you the top 5 right now. And when you open your own business as an entrepreneur, you have to trust that. But why is that? Because you have to be yourself, okay? If you're trying to be something you're not, it's not going to be authentic, and it's not going to come through to who you're talking to. Go ahead.
Does it ever get difficult to maintain order in your business?
Yeah, it does. Especially with, like, here's one of my philosophies. Hire only people who are better than you, okay? And if you think that's easy, all right? That seems like a no-brainer. But your brain doesn't want to work that way. Your brain wants to hire minions. I always think about that show with the minions, Don't hire minions. Hire people that stretch you. Hire people that push you. One of the things that causes conflict with me and Kathy is that she pushes me every day. Hey, can we do this? Hey, can we do that? And I'm like, well, I hadn't thought of that. That's a good idea. Or maybe we have to say we can't do it right now, or something like that. But if I didn't have her pushing me, then we would be not as good of an agency. Bruce pushes me, Travis pushes me. Go ahead. Got two right here, then we'll jump over there.
How do you balance work and life?
Oh.
Do the best you can.
I got you. I'm still well, you have young kids too, so we both have kids that, really, balancing is up to you. I mean, we learn from our parents, right? I learned from my dad. My dad worked hard, I never saw him. It is what it is. We also did 2 tours in the military and spent a couple years away from us. Well, I want to be like that. So if I have to miss some time with family, depending on how important it is for their future, which parents making money for their kids is kind of important nowadays. Some of you are here on scholarships. Some of your parents are paying for you to be here, right? It's just the way it is. So you have to figure out what's important to you, and then bail that out with your family. You know, I don't miss much, but I do miss some.
One thing I'll say to that too is work-life balance doesn't matter if you love what you do, because you feel like you're just doing something you love. It's not work. That goes to these values too. When you go to an interview for a company, ask them what their values are. Our values are not on our website, and we may be putting them on there, but you know, when you ask us what our values are, let's see, I'll tell you if there are a couple of them. Service, teamwork, integrity, respect, accountability, excellence, empowerment, adaptability, relationships, and our last one is fun. So we got it down to 10, and we feel like that fits all of the things that we're trying to decide to do and who we are. Sometimes when you're working hard, you gotta remember to have a little fun, you know? How do you do that? If you worked in an insurance agency, what would you do to have fun?
I don't know, probably try like build relationships with coworkers and stuff.
Okay, like maybe take them all to Topgolf and see who can hit the net?
Yeah. Fun games. I like to do fun games.
Go ahead.
So, you're talking about a lot about like what type of people you wanna hire.
Yeah.
But you have 4 locations, so roughly how many employees do you all actually have?
We have 20.
20? Wow.
How many do you think we have?
More than 40?
Okay. We have 20. It takes about 4 to 5 people to run a branch. So, go ahead.
Are you wanting to expand your business and hire more?
Yes. We just finished our 5-year strategic plan, and we decided to double in size in the next 5 years. Again, that's why we're all stressing a little bit. We just did that last week. How do we do that? You know, we opened a new branch in Albertville. We have 2 really good agents up there that are trying to break into that market. Go ahead.
So you said you opened a new cybersecurity branch at the beginning. How much, I just probably don't know specifics now, but money-wise, opening up a new department for y'all, how much would that be?
I think it's really a separate company altogether, but we have common ownership. Say the question again. What's the?
You said you opened that new cybersecurity division. How much money is going into that? Out of y'all's business?
Well, in the first 3 years, everything that's going in is going right back out. So you're trying to break even those first 3 years, and I think it's going into year 3, right, Bruce? So we're getting to the point where we're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Once it starts making money, then you can really kind of decide to grow, and that's what we are. You know, we ran through the same thing about 4 or 5 years ago, and now we're starting to make money so we can expand. Like we had back here. Go ahead, Bruce.
I know we're running tight on time, we got a couple minutes. I was just reminded of a couple of books. If y'all have a recommended reading list, I'm sorry to whoever made it, but I'm gonna add to if it's okay. There's a book by a fellow named Les McCown called Predictable Success. He is a serial entrepreneur, and that book is about his experience with starting and then ultimately selling businesses and becoming phenomenally successful as an entrepreneur. It's called Predictable Success, Les McCown. And one of my favorites is by Simon Sinek. If you're a TED Talk kind of person, Simon Sinek wrote a book, actually two, I'd say. One is Start With Why. That's the name of the book, Start With Why. And the other one is Leaders Eat Last. I'd add those to your reading list.
Okay, looks like we got, 5 minutes.
It's going by so
You finish
fast.
on early, or do you hold everybody over, is that what you do, so they gotta
At
walk
least
in the
15
rain and
minutes,
rush?
yeah.
Right, go ahead.
How would you describe the culture that you're trying to provide to your employees and or the people that come to you for insurance?
So there's 2 questions there, right? One of them is internal, how do the employees feel to work with us, and how do our clients feel? Y'all wanna talk about what it feels like to work?
We want them to feel like family. Our goal is to take care of them. If you have people that feel appreciated and cared for, they're gonna wanna work harder for you. So that's our goal, is to make them feel just like family. We want that you're spending a large portion of your day with them. It's nothing worse walking in the door and you're like, oh, I gotta have another day with her. Like, we don't want that. We want a very much team work together environment.
As far as our clients, right now, we're doing a survey, and they're actually answering us and what they like and don't like. So far, our detractors are all about the price going up, which is something we don't control, so we feel pretty good about that. Let's go ahead and finish our 5. Who's got, name off one of your 5 right there with your hand up. Ethics. So what we got is family, faith, ethics. What's one of your 5? Second. Diversity, okay. One more. Go ahead, right here. Freedom, okay. So do y'all feel pretty good about those 5? Y'all want to do business together? If you don't like those 5, we request that you don't work with us. Okay? So, the last couple of things, diversity and freedom, okay? Diversity, why do I want to be diverse?
Put all your eggs in one basket.
That's one reason. What's another reason? Are my clients diverse? Right? So, the same reason that I want her skill set to be better or different than mine is why we want to always, if you get a bunch of people that are exactly the same, you will fail.
You're never gonna grow.
And freedom, we're an independent insurance agency. That is one of the most important things to me, is the fact that we can make our own decisions and I don't work with a man, right?
Now you don't know why we could not get below 10.
Okay.
Well, I'm so sorry to have to cut you off. This is such a wonderful problem. We wish this was a Tuesday, Thursday class, so we have another 30 minutes. I loved all the questions and interaction. You guys did amazingly. Let's give Miss Lilia, Mr. Glass, and Mr. Goki, and Mr. Cornett a big round of applause.